Good evening, and welcome to Cozy Sleep Time. Get comfortable and take a slow breath. Let your body relax more and more. Tonight's story is about the snow. Simply listen or let your mind drift. There is no need to focus. Let the quiet story begin. Tonight we explore the wonder of snow. Each snowflake begins its journey high in the clouds, where temperatures remain below freezing throughout the entire cloud layer. The formation of snow requires conditions different from those that produce rain. While raindrops form from collisions between liquid droplets, snow crystals develop slowly, building their intricate structures molecule by molecule. This transformation begins when water vapor in a cloud contacts tiny particles called ice nuclei. These nuclei can be dust, pollen, or microscopic organisms carried into the atmosphere. Once an ice crystal forms, it continues to grow as water molecules attach to its surface. The crystal grows preferentially at corners and edges, where the molecular structure offers the most favorable attachment sites. This produces the branching patterns that give snowflakes their characteristic six-pointed symmetry. The hexagonal shape reflects the molecular arrangement of ice, where water molecules bond in a hexagonal lattice. As the crystal falls, it encounters varying temperatures and humidity levels that shape its final form. Crystals growing near -2 degrees Celsius form thin hexagonal plates. At -5 degrees Celsius, crystals grow as slender hollow columns. At -15 degrees Celsius, crystals develop into the elaborate stellar dendrites most recognized as classic snowflakes. These dendritic crystals feature complex branching patterns extending several millimeters from the central nucleus. As the crystal descends, it may encounter supercooled water droplets that freeze instantly upon contact in a process called riming. A fully rimed crystal is called graupel, resembling tiny balls of soft ice rather than a classic snowflake. The journey from cloud to ground can take from minutes to hours, depending on cloud depth and updraft strength. The crystal may be carried upward by rising air currents, only to fall again as it grows heavier. This cycling allows the crystal to encounter different conditions, adding layers of complexity to its structure. No two snow crystals are exactly the same, because each follows a unique path through varying conditions. Scientists have examined billions of snow crystals over more than a century, yet no two have ever been found to match. When the crystal reaches the ground, it joins countless others in forming the snowpack. Surface conditions determine whether the snow remains as individual crystals or bonds into larger masses. Snow that falls through air well below freezing arrives as dry, light powder that piles loosely. Snow that falls through air near freezing arrives wet and heavy, bonding to every surface it touches. The depth of the warm layer between cloud and ground determines whether snow survives its descent. These variations determine what form of winter precipitation reaches the earth. Each snowflake carries within its structure the record of its journey through the sky. Snow has long served as a powerful indicator of weather patterns and atmospheric conditions. Traditional weather observers learn to read the signs that snow brings, from the character of falling flakes to the behavior of snow on the ground. The type of snow that falls reveals much about the temperature and moisture conditions in the atmosphere above. Large, delicate flakes with complex branching patterns indicate abundant moisture at temperatures near -15 degrees Celsius. Small, compact crystals in the form of columns or plates suggest colder and drier conditions aloft. When snow falls as fine, needle-like crystals, the atmosphere contains very cold air with limited moisture. The intensity of snowfall provides information about the organization of the weather system producing it. Steady, Prolonged snowfall typically comes from broad nimbostratus clouds associated with warm fronts. Intense, short-lived bursts of heavy snow often come from bands within cold fronts or lake effect events. Lake effect snow forms when cold air passes over warmer lake waters, picking up moisture that falls as heavy snow downwind. The Great Lakes produce some of the most dramatic lake effect snow events in the world, with some locations receiving hundreds of centimeters annually. These narrow bands of heavy snow can produce dramatically different accumulations over short distances. Snow cover itself influences weather by altering the energy balance at the surface. Fresh snow reflects up to 90% of incoming sunlight back into space, a property called albedo. This high reflectivity keeps surface temperatures low, helping to maintain cold conditions after a snowfall. When snow cover is present, daytime temperatures remain significantly colder than they would over bare ground. This cooling effect can influence weather patterns for days or weeks after a snow event. The depth of snow cover affects how quickly the ground warms in spring. Deep snow takes longer to melt and delays the transition to warmer conditions. Snow also plays a crucial role in the hydrologic cycle, storing water through winter and releasing it during spring melt. In many regions, snowpack provides the primary source of water for the entire year. Mountain snowpacks act as natural reservoirs, releasing water gradually as temperatures rise. Traditional wisdom about snow and weather contains observations validated by modern science. The saying that a snowy winter predicts a wet spring reflects the relationship between snowpack and spring runoff. Red skies during snowfall often indicate changing conditions, with approaching warm air bringing a transition from snow to rain. Snow that falls on unfrozen ground often melts more quickly than snow on frozen ground because the ground warmth conducts upward through the snowpack. The behavior of snow during and after a storm reveals the atmospheric processes that produced it. Every snowfall tells a story about the weather that created it and the weather yet to come. When snow accumulates on the ground, it transforms the landscape in fundamental ways. The world changes as fresh snow blankets every surface, softening edges and simplifying visual forms. Snow cover acts as a powerful insulator for the ground beneath, because the air trapped between snow crystals conducts heat very poorly. The insulating properties of snow depend heavily on its density and structure. Fresh, powdery snow contains up to 90% trapped air, making it an excellent insulator. Compacted or wet snow contains less air and provides less insulation. A snowpack just 20 centimeters deep can keep the ground temperature from dropping below freezing, even when air temperatures fall far below zero. This insulation protects plant roots, burrowing animals, and overwintering crops from extreme cold. The temperature at the base of a deep snowpack often remains near 0 degrees Celsius throughout the winter. As snow accumulates, the lower layers undergo transformation under the weight of the snow above. This process, called snow metamorphism, changes the character of the snow crystals over time. Angular, branched crystals in fresh snow gradually round into granular particles as they settle and compact. The weight of overlying snow forces crystals to break and rebond, creating a denser, stronger snowpack. Depth hoar forms near the base of the snowpack when temperature gradients cause water vapor to move upward and recrystallize. This layer of coarse, angular crystals can create weak planes within the snowpack that influence avalanche formation. The snowpack develops distinct layers throughout the winter, each representing a different snowfall event. Between storms, surface processes modify the top layer through melting, refreezing, or wind redistribution. Wind transports snow from exposed locations and deposits it in sheltered areas, creating drifts that can be many times deeper than the surrounding snow. The pattern of drifting reveals the prevailing wind direction and strength during and after the storm. Snow on the ground also changes the acoustic environment, absorbing sound waves and creating the characteristic quiet of a snowy landscape. The albedo of snow cover dramatically affects local climate by reflecting sunlight rather than absorbing it. Areas with persistent snow cover remain cooler than areas where snow has melted or been removed. This cooling creates local temperature differences that influence wind patterns and cloud formation. As spring approaches, the snowpack begins to melt from the surface downward. The melt rate depends on air temperature, solar radiation, wind, and the reflectivity of the snow surface. Dirty or aged snow melts faster than fresh snow because it absorbs more sunlight. Water from melting snow percolates through the snowpack and eventually reaches the ground, recharging soil moisture and groundwater. This spring melt provides a critical water supply for ecosystems and human communities alike. In mountain regions, the gradual melting of snowpack sustains rivers and streams throughout the dry summer months. The snow that transforms the winter landscape is not merely a surface decoration, but an active and dynamic part of the Earth system. Snow creates a challenging environment for wildlife, yet many animals have evolved remarkable adaptations to survive and thrive in snowy conditions. The Arctic fox grows a thick white coat in winter that provides both insulation and camouflage against the snow. Its fur is among the warmest of any mammal, allowing it to remain active at temperatures below -50 degrees Celsius. The Arctic fox also possesses fur on the soles of its paws, providing traction on icy surfaces and insulation from the cold ground. The snowshoe hare changes from brown in summer to white in winter, matching the snow-covered landscape. Its large hind feet act as natural snowshoes, distributing weight across the snow surface and preventing the animal from sinking. The ptarmigan likewise adopts white plumage in winter and grows feathers on its legs and feet for warmth. These seasonal color changes are triggered by day length, ensuring that the animal's appearance matches the presence of snow. Beneath the snow, a hidden world of activity continues throughout the winter. Small mammals such as voles and mice live within the subnivean zone, the space between the snowpack and the ground. The snow above provides insulation from extreme cold, while the ground below offers temperatures near freezing. These animals create networks of tunnels beneath the snow, allowing them to access food and avoid predators. Predators such as foxes and owls can hear these animals moving beneath the snow and use this sound to locate prey. A fox hunting in snow will pause, tilt its head, and listen for the faint sounds of movement below. When it locates prey, it leaps into the air and drives its head into the snow to capture the animal beneath. This hunting technique, called mousing, demonstrates the remarkable sensory abilities that predators develop for snowy conditions. Larger mammals employ different strategies for surviving snow. Deer and elk migrate to lower elevations where snow is shallower and food is more accessible. Moose use their long legs to wade through deep snow that would impede other animals. Their hollow hairs provide excellent insulation, trapping warm air close to the body. Bears enter dens and hibernate, surviving on stored body fat until spring. The den, often lined with vegetation and covered by snow, maintains a stable temperature above freezing even in the coldest weather. Birds face particular challenges when snow covers their food sources. The black-capped chickadee enters a state of regulated hypothermia at night, lowering its body temperature to conserve energy. Other birds store food in the fall and rely on these caches during winter storms. The tracks left by animals in fresh snow tell stories of their movements and behaviors. A line of delicate footprints reveals the path of a mouse traveling between feeding areas. The pattern of wing impressions shows where an owl captured its prey. Snow preserves these traces until the next storm erases them, recording the secret lives of winter animals. Snow appears in many forms, each with distinct properties determined by the conditions of its formation and transformation. The International Classification of Snow recognizes dozens of distinct snow types, organized by crystal shape and density. Fresh snow is categorized by the shape of its crystals, from simple plates and columns to complex stellar dendrites. The density of fresh snow varies enormously, from as little as 30 kilograms per cubic meter for light powder to more than 200 for wet snow. Powder snow consists of small, light crystals that have not been altered by melting or wind. These crystals remain separate and loosely packed, creating the deep, fluffy snow prized by skiers and snowboarders. Powder snow forms when temperatures remain well below freezing from cloud to ground and winds are calm. The crystals in powder snow retain their delicate branching structures because they are not damaged during fall or after landing. Packed snow forms when snow has been compressed by its weight, wind, or human activity. The crystals in packed snow have been broken and rearranged, creating a denser material with fewer air spaces. Packed snow provides a stable surface for walking and skiing, but offers less insulation than loose powder. Wet snow forms when temperatures are near freezing and the snow contains liquid water. The liquid water between crystals allows them to bond together, creating snow ideal for building snowmen and snowballs. Wet snow is heavy and dense, containing up to 10 times more water than dry powder. The water content of snow is measured as snow water equivalent, the depth of water that would result if the snow melted completely. Corn snow forms during spring conditions when nightly freezing and daily thawing create large, granular crystals. These repeated freeze-thaw cycles round the crystals and give them a distinctive, coarse texture. Corn snow provides excellent skiing conditions in spring with a stable surface that supports weight without being icy. Depth hoar forms within the snowpack when temperature gradients drive water vapor movement. These large, cup-shaped crystals do not bond well to each other, creating weak layers within the snowpack. Depth hoar is of particular concern for avalanche forecasting because it can fail under stress. Surface hoar forms on the snow surface when humid air deposits frost directly onto cold snow. These delicate crystals create a weak layer that, when buried by subsequent snow, can contribute to avalanche danger. Wind slab forms when wind deposits and compacts snow on leeward slopes, creating a hard layer that may bond poorly to the snow beneath. Snow also appears as firn, the transition between snow and glacial ice that forms when snow survives one melt season and compresses into dense, granular ice. Over years and centuries, firn continues to compact into glacial ice, preserving the history of snowfall within its layers. Each form of snow tells a story about the conditions that created it and the processes that transformed it. One of the most striking qualities of a snowy landscape is the profound quiet that follows a snowfall. This quiet is not merely a feeling, but a measurable acoustic phenomenon with a clear physical explanation. Fresh snow absorbs sound because of the irregular shapes of snow crystals and the air trapped between them. When sound waves encounter a fresh snow surface, they enter the porous layer and bounce between countless crystal surfaces. Each reflection scatters the sound energy, converting it into tiny amounts of heat, and reducing the sound that reflects back into the air. This absorption is most effective for high-frequency sounds, such as the crunch of footsteps or the calls of birds. Low-frequency sounds, such as the rumble of distant traffic, pass through snow more easily. The result is a landscape that feels muffled and hushed, where sharp sounds soften and distant noises fade into silence. The sound-absorbing properties of snow depend on its depth and structure. Fresh, powdery snow with large air spaces absorbs sound most effectively. As snow ages, compacts, and melts, its sound-absorbing quality diminishes. A crust of ice on the snow surface reflects sound rather than absorbing it, restoring acoustic brightness to the landscape. The quiet of a snowy world is also enhanced by the absence of other sound sources. Many animals reduce their activity during snowstorms, and human activity diminishes as well. Snow itself dampens the sounds of human activity, muffling the noise of vehicles and machinery. Falling snow also contributes to the sense of quiet by reducing visibility and softening the visual landscape. The visual uniformity of a snow-covered landscape reduces distractions, encouraging a quieter state of mind. The relationship between snow and quiet has been recognized across many cultures throughout history. Walking on fresh powder snow produces almost no sound, while walking on compacted snow produces a distinctive squeak. The squeak of snow occurs when crystals are cold enough to break rather than slide past each other under pressure. This squeaking sound typically occurs at temperatures below -5 degrees Celsius. As temperatures rise toward freezing, snow becomes plastic and the squeaking disappears. The quality of sound in a snowy landscape changes constantly as the snow ages and the temperature fluctuates. A snowfall that begins as silent powder may, after a warm day and cold night, transform into a surface that crunches audibly underfoot. These acoustic changes mark the passage of time in a winter landscape where visual changes may be subtle. Snow creates a temporary refuge from noise, a natural soundproofing that settles over the land and invites a deeper kind of listening. As our story ends, let the quiet ideas settle softly. Your body can continue to relax, breathing slow and steady. If sleep is near, let it arrive naturally. Thank you for spending this moment here on Cozy Sleep Time. Return anytime for another peaceful journey. Good night.